a lot of people seem to be laughing at Dragon Age on Twitter right now because it's revealed they're making a deal with Nvidia. If you get 6 months from Nvidia, then you get the game for free. So people are making fun, saying that they're worried about sales. And while it's kind of true that if you look at other titles that also did similar things, like Spider-Man 2, they partnered with PlayStation, and if you bought a PlayStation 5, you would get the game for free. Days Gone By did the same, and when you look at the sales for those games, it wasn't really spectacular. So I can understand why people would believe that this is a move out of desperation, but the reality is that it's unlikely. Usually these types of deals are done months, if not years in advance. So chances are even before releasing the trailer, they were already talking with Nvidia about this type of deal. So I don't think it's because of the low sales. But what I do notice is that when the first Dragon Age came out, there was massive hype. Like, it was impossible to go anywhere without people being excited about the game. And there were people talking about the lore and the announcements and all of that. Even with Dragon Age 2, it was the same. I mean, in fact, most Bioware games usually had a lot of hype. Like, there was very little negativity around them. Everyone was excited and everyone was cheering and people were cosplaying the characters that were in the trailers. And you don't get to see that anymore. Like, not with the last Dragon Age. The last Dragon Age is basically, on one hand, people shitting on the character designs and pointing out that the gameplay looks more like a looter shooter rather than a Dragon Age title. Even one of the people working on it came out and said that he doesn't really like the art style. It was one of the writers. Like, initially he started dissing the gamers, but then he started making more posts saying that, yeah, you know, maybe I'll get used to the art style after a while, but it's not really my thing. And it kind of isn't, right? Like, it's not part of the Dragon Age thing that these characters look like stock photos. Like, if you replace the background behind them with anything else, they can fit in a sci-fi universe, they can fit in a medieval universe, they can fit pretty much anywhere. I mean, this guy looks so American. Like, that, there's nothing that would suggest that he's a fantasy character, right? So, like, if you put him in a modern setting, he just fits in. I noticed this a lot with the latest AAA titles. Like, they don't have originality, they don't have soul anymore. You know, if you think about a night elf, like, you can't place her on a normal setting, right? You can't place her in a modern setting. It will look out of place. It will look weird, right? Like, when you see a night elf, you're thinking Blizzard, you're thinking World of Warcraft. But these characters, they're so generic, right? Like, this doesn't even look like a dwarf necessarily. It looks just like a short person. And it's not just Dragon Age, it's almost every single game that's coming out, right? It's difficult not to notice, so I do understand what that particular artist was saying. But you don't want your product to literally be like the community arguing with each other, to have like people nitpicking the art style. You don't want that. You know, you don't want people complaining about the fact that, oh, this is a sequel and the gameplay looks completely different than the previous titles. No. No, and you know, this is already a major L for the company, and this is Bioware we're talking about. Like, a lot of people think of Bioware and they remember the previous games, right? They remember Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, they remember Neverwinter Nights, and especially Mass Effect and Dragon Age. But if you're looking at, you know, ever since Mass Effect 3, which the game was pretty good, but the ending was disappointing, they haven't released a single title that is good. Like, there is the saying in the industry that you are as good as your previous title, and most of their titles were just like awful or didn't even play well. Like for instance, Anthem. That was such a horrible release, to the point where I thought, okay, BioWare is done, but no, they're still alive and kicking, and they're going to release this game. And, you know, people keep saying, oh, this is probably the last game that's going to bury BioWare. They said that since Mass Effect Andromeda, another game that was so bad it killed the franchise. So I'm generally curious, like, what are they going to do now? Right? If this game doesn't sell, if this game doesn't work, what else? I'm also curious, like, how many people from the original BioWare still work there? Because if you think about it, the company name is still there, right? But are the people who work there still there? Because if you think in the perspective of your house, right? Like your parents' house, the house you grew up with, and that's the company. If you sell your house and now there's different people living in, I mean, it's still the same building, right? It's still your house, but like inside the house, there's different furniture, it's a different culture, it's different people living in. So it's the same with companies. Like, they still have the same name, the same building. I'm pretty sure if you go into it, maybe the furniture is a little bit different. But if the people there are different, and if the culture is different, then they're not going to produce the same quality games. And when it comes to Bioware, yeah, I don't have faith in them that this is going to look good. I saw the trailers, I saw the focus. The focus is on making the female characters masculine. I'll make another video and I'll show that this lady has an Adam apple. Like, I'm not even kidding. You need to understand, in order for a character to have an Adam apple, there was a team of artists that gave her and animated that Adam apple. And you have, like, the mouth breathers on Twitter that's like, hey, women have larynxes. There are women with that. Shut the fuck up. You know, no one fucking cares that there are women with the Adam apple. The question is, why did they decide to put one there, and why did they think that I want to spend money to see it? Right? Like, why is their focus, why is their energy dedicated on masculinizing women? Who is asking for this? Are you asking for this? Well, if that's the case, better buy 10 copies, because I'm not touching this game. I'm not buying it, you know? The win condition, for me, is to remain disinterested. That's it. That's all I gotta do. They can rage, they can foam at the mouth. All I gotta do is to not buy the game. Their win condition is for people to keep buying the slop and putting up with it. Just, you know, games broken on launch, doesn't matter, just keep buying. Microtransactions, everything that's designed in order to milk you out of every single penny, doesn't matter, just keep buying. Just horseshit ideology pushed into the game. Chess cards and all of that, doesn't matter, just keep buying. Buy the cellulitis. Buy the cellulitis. That's what they need to win. And unfortunately, it's a lot more difficult for them to win than it is for me to win. Because all I gotta do, as I mentioned, is identify as non-binary, right? So non-binary, if I identify as that and I don't buy, there's nothing that they can do. They can cry about it, they can complain, they can do anything. Anything, even if they were to take me out. If they send Trump's Hasashin after me, I still win, because I still don't buy the game. And I even help them diversify the audience. This is crucial, very important for the modern AAA companies that are struggling to find the diversity. By being a straight white man and just removing myself from the audience, their audience becomes more diverse simply based on a percentage quota. Because now they have more minorities and people of color and women playing the game. Percentage based, because I remove myself from the equation. So it's crucial, it's pivotal to help these companies achieve that diversity, not just in the company itself, but in the audience as well. So let me know what you guys think, and as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.